Very good afternoon to all. I welcome you all to the 29th lecture of this online 2-week interdisciplinary national refresher course on the quintessential educator, challenges and opportunities in the changing world. उत्कृष्ट शिक्षा, बदलती दुनिया में चुनौतियां और अवसर. Organized by IQAC Atma Sanatan Dharma College and TLC Ramanujan College. For this 29th lecture, we are honored to have Professor Ravinarayan Chakrakodi with us. Sir is professor and academic head at the Regional Institute of English, South India, Bengaluru, where he trains teachers in English language pedagogy. He has an MA in TESOL with distinction from University of Lancaster, United Kingdom. He has conducted many teachers education courses, research projects, and material development across India. He has worked as the chairperson of second language English textbooks for the Department of Education, Government of Karnataka. He was the lead coordinator for the British Council India's Action Research Monetary Scheme for 2019-20 cohort. More than 60 teachers, researchers, and 16 mentors from several different states of India were part of this mentoring teacher research project. His book on Learn English, Teach English, English Skills for Teachers was published by Oxford University Press of India. His research interests include second language reading, writing, assessment, classroom-based research, and teacher research mentoring. Welcome, sir. We are really honored to have you here. And now I invite you to share your words of wisdom with us.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. I'm just trying to see the chat. I don't know where it has disappeared. How can I see the chat box?
The chat is disabled for the lecture, and after the lecture, we'll be taking questions and interacting with the participants.
Oh, I see. Okay, right.
Yeah.
Do you want us?
And the rest of the part for interaction.
Okay. I generally interact with the participants during my lecture.
So if you want, I can enable the chat box. That will be fine.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah. You can.
Yeah. I have enabled it, sir.
Okay. All right. How do I see it on my screen? I'm just sure. Okay.
Right. At the bottom of your screen, you'll be able to see some tabs, and I think chat is there.
Yeah.
The chat has been enabled. I can also see that.
Yeah. Fine. All right. I'll try. Okay. Okay. Can you see my screen, sir? I've shared my screen.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Just trying to see the chat box. I can't see it on my device. Okay.
Okay, let me write something on the chat box. It may appear to you.
All right. Now I can see. Yes. That's right. Yeah. Thank you so much. Thanks. Okay. Yes. Okay. Great. Okay, let me begin. So the topic for today's presentation is teacher education in the digital age. I'm into teacher education. Thank you, Ravinder, sir, for that wonderful introduction. As you know, I work with teachers. These teachers are from 6 South Indian states, namely Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Telangana, and Pondicherry. So we work with teachers from these 6 South Indian states, and they are deputed by the state governments for in-service training programs. Generally, they attend training programs for 1 full month. They're deputed for 1 full month. And it is an intensive residential kind of training program. But due to the pandemic, we had to deliver the program online. That's why I have titled my session as Teacher Education in the Digital Age. We had to transform all the face-to-face mode of delivery into the online mode of delivery. That took a little time, actually, converting from one medium to another. Right, so what we did was we tried to analyze teachers' needs. So we shared a Google form with the teachers. We administered a questionnaire, and we wanted to understand teachers' requirements, teachers' needs, especially during this COVID-19 pandemic, how teacher education can be done online. Yes, so before I talk about our teacher education programs, I'd like you to please look at the next slide and use the chat box. I'd like all of you to please use the chat box and let me know how many of you are familiar with these online tools, platforms. Let's begin with the first one, MindMeister. Okay, I'll make this full screen. I'll try to make it full screen. So how many of you are familiar? You can just say if you have used this particular online tool, please type yes in the chat box. Yes, otherwise no. MindMeister, for example. Has anybody used MindMeister during your online teaching? I'm sure all of you are engaging your students online.
Sir, across Delhi, sorry to interrupt. Across Delhi University, like we have been provided digital platforms by the university. So all the teachers are conducting classes over Google site, Google Meet. And we also have access to this thing, Microsoft. Microsoft.
Right. Yeah, that's right. That's fine. Yeah. Now, this particular, okay, MindMeister. How many of you are familiar with MindMeister? If you're familiar, you can type yes. Otherwise, no. I'm not sure about MindMeister. Okay, no. It looks like most of you are not familiar with this. Okay. No. Yeah, no from many. All right. Yes. Okay. Oh, that's fine. Yeah. MindMeister is actually an online tool used for drawing mind maps. It's a very useful tool for drawing mind maps. All right. The next one is Flipgrid. Flipgrid. Has anybody used Flipgrid? You can type yes or no in the chat. It's just a warm up, actually, just a brainstorming session now. Flipgrid. Okay. So mostly no again. Flipgrid. No, that's all right. Yeah, good. Okay, let's move on to the next one, Padlet. Has anybody used Padlet? If you have used, please type yes. Yes, I've used Padlet, or else no. Padlet. Okay. So, all of you, please. Can you all please see the chat? Type your responses. Yes, Dr. Gopal Kumar, no. Tarika, no. Okay, I can see your names. Sandhya Rathore, no. Niharika, no. Okay, what about others? Kumar Rakesh, no. All right. Yes, Padlet also, no. Okay, good. What about Blogger, blogspot.com or WordPress has?
Majority of us would be familiar with this because because we look at reference materials and articles, research papers, and we
right. Yes. Right. Yeah. So can you all please type yes or no? If you're blogging, if you're using WordPress for blogging, you can type yes or else no. Okay. Kumar Rakesh, yes. Dr. Yes. Shikha, no. Dr. Mamata, yes. Okay. Right. All right. So looks like some of you are at least familiar with blogging sites. All right. That's great. What about Google site? The next one is Google site. Has anybody used Google site? If yes, you can type. Yeah. Okay. Google site, yes. Oh, no. Some of you are saying no. Okay. So Google site, yes. Okay.
So this is the most preferred one.
I see. All right. Excellent.
Easily accessible also.
Okay, fine. That's fine. Yeah. Yes. Looks like most of you are familiar. You've been using Google site. That's wonderful. Jamboard. Next one is Jamboard. Has anybody used Jamboard? No. Yeah. Yes. A few of you. Yes. Okay. Many of you. No. That's all right. Yeah. What about Google Form? I'm sure all of you must have used Google Form. Next one is Google Form. All right. Maybe for administering online tests, for collecting data, to use questionnaires, you must have used Google Form. Okay, great. Looks like, most of you have used Google Form. That's right. Next one is Modal. What about Modal? Are you familiar with this Modal platform? Modal, big blue button. Okay, Modal. No. Okay, Modal, it's no. Okay. Right. Yes. Niharika, yes, but otherwise it's no from many of you. Modal. Okay. Yes. Ajit Kumar, yes. Okay. So you're familiar. That's fine. Word wall. What about word wall? Word wall. Anybody? Word wall? No. Okay. No. Okay. That's fine. What about WhatsApp? Have you used WhatsApp with your students? WhatsApp. Next one. The last one. WhatsApp. Have you been able to engage students on WhatsApp in interesting discussions? Maybe you have used WhatsApp to share videos, audios, your course materials. Okay, WhatsApp. Yes. All right. That's fine. Excellent. Okay. So looks like, yes, Google site, you're all familiar. And then Google form, yes. And then WhatsApp, of course, yes. And then some blogging sites as well. That's fine. Yeah, good. Okay, that's okay. All right. Now let me move on to the next slide. Okay, yeah. Can you see the next slide? One second. Let me go to the next slide. Yeah. Can you see the next slide? Shubha madam,
Yes,
can
yes.
you see?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, okay, great. So I just want you to reflect on your own engagement with online teaching. All right. So I'm going to share a link now. That's a link for Padlet. I also want you to practice using Padlet. This is like a practical session. I'm not going to give a lecture. Okay, so you will be sharing your experiences of teaching students online. I'll give you 5 minutes and you'll reflect on the following questions. What online resources tools did you use? And what online resources tools did your students use? First question. Second one, what went well during your online teaching and why? What are some of your success stories? What are you happy with during your online teaching? And why are you happy with this, right? And what didn't go well? Did you face any difficulties, challenges? If yes, how did you overcome those challenges? All right. Or why do you think this particular session didn't go well? And then how can you do better next time? What do you think you should do next time? What changes do you think you should bring about in your online session? So how can you do better next time? All right. So I'm going to share a link to the Padlet. Just give me 1 second. Yeah. You'll have to open the link. I'll share the link in the chat. Please try to open the link and then share your experiences. Okay, this is a link for Padlet. Meanwhile, you will also learn how to use Padlet. That's the objective. Okay, the link is shared in the chat. Please open the link. There is a plus icon. If you're on your laptop, maybe you will see a plus icon on the bottom right-hand side. Please click plus icon. You'll be able to post your responses. So these are the questions for you to answer. All of you, can you please open the link and start typing your responses? What online resource did you use? And what successes did you experience? What went well? What didn't go well? And what do you think you'll be doing next time? Right? Yeah. So those are a few questions for you to reflect. I'll give you some 3 minutes time. Is that fine? 3 minutes. Yes. Just try to enter your responses. Okay. You'll have to, yeah, please mention your name at the top. Title could be your name. Please don't forget to add your name, either at the top or at the bottom. Yes. Otherwise, it will show anonymous. I've shared the link in the chat. Yeah. Okay. Right. All of you, can you please open the link? Spend 2-3 minutes on sharing your experiences, please. You'll have to click plus icon. I hope all of you can see the plus icon or maybe the icon of a pen. Click that and then make your entries. Yeah, I can see Bijender Singh. Yeah, Bijender Singh has posted his comments. Dr. Shika, yeah, please write. Can you all write a short paragraph, please? You'll have to post it as a separate wall. It's called a wall. Each one will have a wall. You have to create your own wall. Yeah. Right now, some 6, 8 of you are active. I think you're typing on Padlet. Can all of you come on Padlet, please? Yeah. Dr. Hajra Masood has posted his comments. Bijender Singh has also posted. Dr. Shika has written something, and then Nivruti, yes. Nivruti Tanaji Lokhande, all right. Dr. Monica Puri, you'll have to write a short paragraph. Yes. Can you write 5, 6 sentences? Yeah, Dr. Gopal Kumar has posted. Tarika has posted. Yes, very good. So you will also learn how to use Padlet. All right. This is, of course, this is a commercial tool, but the basic version, free version is available. You can use free version 3 times. You can create 3 different walls with the free version, all right, the basic version. Right. Yes. So can all of you please post on Padlet? I'll try to share this Padlet page. Let me share the Padlet page. I'll stop my screen and let me share the Padlet page. Right.
Quite interesting, actually.
Yeah. Yes. Some 14 of you have posted your responses. 14. Just 14 out of 107. So can I have more responses, please? Any issues there? Like maybe some of you are still not clear how to use this, where to post. Yes, some 14. I can see some 14 posts now. A few more, please. You can see the Padlet page, right? Is it visible on the screen?
Yes,
Yes.
just there.
Yeah. Great. Yeah. Okay. So Gessen, I think it is Gessen. Gessen says, in the beginning, it was a terrible experience. All right. Teaching online. So why was it a terrible experience? If you're there, you can maybe talk about it if you would like to share. Is it Gessen or Gessen? Right. Okay. We have got 16 comments now, 16 responses. Dr. Saraswati, yes. And then Dr. Hajra Masood, Bijender Singh, Dr. Rita Maurya, all right. Salvakar Umakant, yes. Anita, Dr. Shika, Monica, yeah, all right. Tarika, all right. What about others? Can I give you 1 more minute? At least we should write 1 or 2 lines.
Participants, do send in your responses. Let's make this session more interactive.
That's right. Yes. Yeah. Okay. A few more, please. Yes. Ravinder Pant has posted. All right. He used a G Suite, Canva. Okay. All right. Okay. All right, now one or two, maybe you can just read out. Can you read your post, Tarika or Dr. Gopal Kumar? You can see your, Padlet page on the screen. Can you just read it out, Dr. Gopal Kumar or Tarika, please? Can you unmute and speak? What was your experience like? Yeah. Whatever you have posted just now, you can read it out. Anyone?
Actually, our participants don't have rights to unmute themselves.
All right. Okay.
Should I read out?
Yeah, please. Yeah, or can you unmute one of them, either Gopal Kumar or Tarika?
Ravinder, please,
Gopalji, please unmute. Yeah, Gopalji, please unmute.
Gopalji or Tarika, maybe Tarika or Dr.
I've given her a right. Tarika, yeah.
Yeah, hi, this is Tarika. We usually used to use either Zoom or Google Meet, sometimes PPTs, Google Forms, WhatsApp, and I even made some podcasts, which I think the students responded very well to, because I used to make podcasts before we used to meet online. So the students had access to the material in terms of the essays, as well as whatever I wanted to discuss with them beforehand, so that the classes could be made more interactive when we actually met. But of course, the difference there is that even on the podcast platforms, the students could leave their responses in audio format or sometimes in text format. They could get back to me through WhatsApp or any other way. But of course, the connectivity of a usual classroom is of course missing in these cases, especially in a podcast, because they're listening to it not in a classroom space, but at their own convenience in their private spaces and whenever they get time for it.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you. Anyone else? Like Vijeta goes, she or he has posted something. Vijeta goes Guha. All right. Can you unmute Vijeta, please?
Yeah, Vijeta, please unmute.
Hello, sir. This is Vijeta here. I have you from Google Classroom, Google Meet, what's teaching during this lockdown period. Had great time learning and getting closer to technology. Learn something new every day. So I believe I am getting better as a teacher because I'm trying to do something new. Yes, it is true that sometimes we go through bitter experiences like uncertainty of the involvement of the students, but I feel it's quite okay.
All right. Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah. One more maybe, then we'll move on to the next slide. Yeah. One more maybe. Dr. Hajra Masood or Vijender Singh or Dr. Gopal Kumar, please. So what was your experience? Like Dr. Gopal Kumar?
So, am I audible?
Yes, please.
Oh, myself, Dr. Hajra Masood. So usually I used to share the link through WhatsApp group to my students and they used to join, and it was a kind of virtual classroom for me. So at times there were technical glitches, say for example when it rains or something like that, or sometimes when students, a few of my students, they are from certain remote areas, so at times there was connectivity issues. Otherwise I found it was little friendly, like user friendly.
Right. All right. Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you. I think, yeah, let me stop sharing the screen and move on to the next slide. Okay. So Padlet is actually very useful. I've been using Padlet and I use it in every course. I began with the free version. I found it so useful that I have bought this platform. Actually, it's not that expensive. I pay 120 rupees per month, and I use it with all my teachers. You can, if you have the paid version, the advantage is that you can upload audios, you can upload videos, pictures. With the free version, you're able to only post responses. Students can post their responses. It's useful in developing their writing skills, but it helps a lot in improving their writing. They can write paragraphs, essays, journal entries. They can make reflective journals. They can write on Padlet. And the best thing is everybody can see it, right? Yeah, if you make it public, for example, all the students can see each other's writings. They can post feedback. You can actually rate their writing. There's an option to rate. You can rate it out of 10 or 50. So assessment can be done, and you can post, your teacher can post his or her comments. Others can share their feedback. All right. That's one advantage. The other advantage is you can upload audio video resources as well. I can show you a number of examples. What our teachers do is that every day one particular day, they read newspapers, and they record a newspaper report for 3 to 4 minutes. They'll have to read out the headlines with the details. They record it, and then they upload it on Padlet. So news reporting is done every day for about 5-10 minutes. That helps them to improve their pronunciation, their intonation, all right, accent. Before recording their news reports, they actually listen to several news reports on television channels, NDTV, CNN, IBN, for example. They listen, they practice, and then they record their voice. They share it on Padlet. And those who are creative, they go for video versions. They record videos and upload it on Padlet. So it helps a lot, not only in improving writing, but also in developing your speaking skills. So I just wanted to demonstrate that. I wanted you to go to Padlet page and write about your experience. That was the idea. All right, thank you. Let's move on to the next page. Next slide. Okay. So,
excuse me, sir. Can you just make it full screen?
I'll make it full screen. Okay, right. I'll make it full screen. Okay. Just give me.
Students are requesting.
Yeah. Can you see it now? Yeah.
Yeah, it's perfect.
All right. Okay. So I'll just show you 1 or 2 pages from teachers' Padlet entries. Okay. Let me. Yes. Okay. So just give me 1 minute. Yes. 1 second. Okay, sorry, it's asking for password, so I made it private actually, so I can't use this. 1 second. Right, all right, let me just show you. Okay, 1 second, yes. Just give me 1 minute. Control F. Okay. Is it audible? I mean, I'm just trying to play an audio. Is it audible? No,
it's not coming yet.
Okay. Let me see. Okay, once.
When you share the screen, there is a button of sharing a sound.
Okay.
Migrate to new platform.
Is it audible?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Get on with the game. Thousands watched politically online at home. There were no prancing tigers, no rustic drum beats, or moving floats at Thrissur Swaraj Round on Thursday, the 4th Onam day this time. But thousands of people watched politically the Hallmark Street pageant from their homes. In Thrissur, Onam celebrations are not complete without Pulikali, the tiger hunt themed street pageant in which people done up in tiger body art roam the streets in feral dance steps will bring the curtains down for the celebrations. Green shoots in Wayanad's traditional rice conservation. Stray rescuer at the receiving end.
Yeah, so just wanted to play the audio, how they upload audios, videos, all right, on Padlet. Yeah. Let's look at the next thing. Okay, so YouTube. Okay. All right. Let's move on to the next slide. Okay. So it's not just meeting them online. What we also do is, if there are, for example, 120 teachers, for every course we get 120 teachers. So what we do is, I'll make it full screen. Okay. We divide them into small groups, like tutorial groups. All right. So we also have peer mentoring sessions. So it's not that we meet teachers online. They meet on other platforms. A group of 15 to 16 teachers, all right, they have peer mentoring sessions. We have self-study groups, we have peer mentoring sessions. And what they do in peer mentoring sessions is that one of the tasks they'll have to do during this teacher education program is they'll have to read research-based articles and then make a presentation. They'll read expert articles, they'll try to summarize the article in their own words. So this is an article presentation session, and they prepare for article presentation in these small groups. Each one helps the other, and then they prepare themselves and make article presentations. And then the other thing is they'll have to do classroom-based research. I think in this refresher course, you would have heard about classroom research, action research kind of thing. It's called exploratory action research or teacher research. So these teachers, in-service teachers, carry out classroom-based research. It's a long process actually, where they identify classroom issues, problems, frame research questions, and then they go about collecting data. They think of data collection tools and methods, design questionnaires, conduct interviews with students. This is called classroom-based research, where they collect data from students, where they analyze classroom activities, analyze their lesson plans, course books, all right, depending on the research topic. And then they collect data from students, their parents, from other teachers, from experts. They try to analyze the data. Mostly they collect qualitative data. And then they try to analyze the data, share their findings, and write a report. At the end of the 1 month training, each one is supposed to write a research report, which is assessed. Of course, it's included for assessment. So this is called classroom-based research, and the discussion happens in their peer mentoring sessions. Each teacher will have to act as a mentor. So they develop mentoring skills, how to mentor others. What are the qualities of a good mentor? All right. So in peer mentoring sessions, they share their classroom problems, research questions, the kind of data they collected. That's the main objective of the peer mentoring session. And then at the end, before we ask them to go back to the schools, they have to do a practice teaching session. This is peer teaching. They'll have to design a lesson plan and then conduct practice teaching session for about 30 to 40 minutes. And again, they get support from the peer group. All right. So in the peer mentoring sessions, they share their lesson plans, and then they do a kind of micro teaching practice. They do one kind of rehearsal in peer mentoring sessions. So in each cohort, we have small groups, tutorial groups. We don't call them tutorial groups. We call them peer mentoring groups. They help each other, support each other, and then they complete all these tasks successfully. And it looks like peer mentoring sessions are very, very useful. Okay, right. And then they have to actually create their own blogs. Each one of these teachers create blogs. I am going to share just one such blog here. This is an individual blog. And then they also, so with one cohort, what I did is, I'll share the screen. Yes, you will see the blog here. So if there are 100 teachers, you will get 100 blog entries. So look at the way they share their exploratory action research reports on blogs. So this was a problem, a classroom problem identified by one of the teachers called Shweta, for example. Descriptive writing. The classroom issue is students find it difficult to do descriptive writing. Descriptive writing is found to be difficult for secondary school students. Okay, so how to develop descriptive writing skills among my pupils? That was a classroom problem. And then they frame research questions, how to develop descriptive writing among my students. And then why can't they express their ideas coherently and precisely in English? What do other teachers do? Do other teachers also do they also face same issues in their classrooms? If yes, what do they do to develop descriptive writing skills in their students? And then what do I need to do to develop their descriptive writing skills? As a teacher of English language, how can I help my students? So these are their research questions. And then kind of literature review. We don't call it literature review, but what is descriptive writing? They write about what is it? They try to understand more about the topic. All right, what is it? And then data collection. So phase one, they look at students' writings, try to analyze the students' writing skills, what kind of errors they make. All right, and then that's phase one, analyzing students' writings, talking to students, collecting data from students. And phase two, they talk to other teachers, collect data from other teachers, and all these are shared on their blogs. Okay, so if there are 100 teachers, you will get 100 reports on the blogs. And then others. One of the things I have made compulsory is that each blog has to be read by 5 or 6 other teachers. So there should be 5 comments from 5 different teachers. So it's not just writing about your research. You should publicize it, all right? Others should read your report. At least 5 other teachers should read. You should make them read, share the link on the WhatsApp group, make them read and share their comments. All right, so this is considered for assessment. Their blogs are assessed. So this is an individual blog, which I've tried out with one group. And with the next cohort, what I've done is I've actually encouraged them to create a class blog. Okay, so individual blog is fine, but what about a class blog? So in the next slide, you will see the class blog. Okay, let me show you the next slide. Okay. Minimize. Okay, one second. Okay. All right. So let me share the class blog. Okay. Yeah, can you see the class blog now? CLT July 2021. So that's the class blog. Can you all see that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, okay, good. Right, so what do they write in the class blog? For example, if you look at the archive, see, they started posting in July 2021. Self-study group 12 meeting. So what did they discuss in their self-study groups? What did they share in the peer mentoring sessions? The summary is posted on the class blog. Self-study group 12 meeting, for example. When did they meet? What did they discuss? They'll have to share it in the class blog. And then they also have to write a reflective report on the training sessions. All right. So this is a class blog. See, reflections on the training session. Well, this is done in small groups. Yes, session 14. And then, yes, you will also see other articles they have read. All right. That's the class blog. Okay. I'll stop sharing that class blog. Okay. Now let me go to the next slide. So what do you think about this? Is it useful to create, to encourage students to create individual blogs and then to come out with a class blog? Is it useful? What do you think?
Definitely, there's a lot of research and innovation possibility there, and teachers are being encouraged to, first of all, they are being introduced to newer platforms to try out newer ways to reach out to students. Which they would be practicing in their own classroom. So it's a very good idea to, to connect in an interesting manner, and also to include a variety of information in a variety of formats. It's not merely the text which is being circulated in one form or the other, but it's also the audio and the visuals, so making education more fun and interesting, and all the time I would say it's also comprehensive. Yeah.
Right. Thank you so much. Yeah. Right. So the next one is Google site, which all of you, I'm sure you've been using, you're familiar with this, but I'd just like to show one or two Google sites that teachers have created. All right. So these are all teachers working in government schools, in the government setup. They work in remote areas, all right, in villages, small towns. They try it on their mobile sets. Just imagine, most of them will not have access to laptops. They'll have to do it on their mobile, but they do it. All right. So it depends on the kind of motivation and the commitment to the work. So that's the kind of work we do with government school teachers. So look at this particular site. Okay, this is Google site. I'll share the Google site page. Yes. Okay, so in Google site, again, individual. This is an individual site. So there are some compulsory tasks that they'll have to do in the Google site. One is self-introduction. They'll have to write about themselves, a paragraph, a short essay. So this is how Liji Matthew, for example, has introduced herself. Hi, everyone. I'm working as a high school teacher at Kottayam district in Kerala, for example. All right. And pictures, again, Google site, And then, okay, this is a home page. So first page is self-introduction. Next page is, why have I joined this course? What are your expectations from the course? They'll have to write a short essay. And all these tasks, they complete in 1 month. And then the third task is write about a critical incident that happened in your classrooms. They'll have to think of an incident which they consider critical. An incident that happened in the classrooms, a critical incident, they'll have to reflect on it. Can one of you read this? What happened actually? So I hope you can see the page. What did she write about? What is the incident she's narrating here? Can one of you please read it out?
Should I read it out?
Yeah, please.
Yeah. Critical incident. I was teaching at a girls' high school until 2018. Then I was transferred to a boys' high school since June 2019. I felt it was very difficult to manage the boys in the class. After the first terminal examination, I checked the papers and put the marks on the papers. Next day, while I was distributing the papers, one of the boys who edited his mark using the red pen of his friend, and he claimed to have more marks on his paper. But I realized that the boy had edited his mark. When I asked him whether he had edited the mark, he verbally abused me. So I sent him to the headmaster. At first, he did not agree that he edited the mark. Later, he admitted it. The headmaster called his father to school for verbally abusing me. His father was a polite man. He asked his son to apologize to the teacher in front of the students. It was a lesson to the other students as well. In my later classes, he listened very carefully and behaved politely. He was lagging behind in his studies and then studied well and passed with good marks in the SSLC examination. I think of it as a critical incident in my teaching career. Liji Matthew, Kerala.
That's right. Good. Thank you so much. So what do you think about this? Or what are your reactions? What will you do with this critical incident? If you are the teacher educator, for example, teachers will write about it. Okay, they narrate such critical incidents. So what's the next step? What do you think we should do next? Can anybody unmute and speak? Who would like, you can post
please,
your name in the chat box. Yeah, one of you. Yeah, what do you think?
Raise your hands. Raise your hands, please. We will unmute.
Yes, you can raise your hand. Yes. So what do we do with this? Teachers write about critical incidents. So what do we do next? Anybody? You can post your name in the chat box, unmute and then speak.
Sir, I think when we read such critical incidents, they really help us to, come out of kind of situation. They guide us and, they can really help us that something like this we can also do. And I think we can come out.
How can we come out like
that situation?
Yeah, how can we come out of that situation? In what sense? Can you elaborate?
Here the teacher talks about that, when one boy, he did something wrong and he was not accepting, so that when it was not a punishment, but just to make him realize that he did something wrong. So I think this way we can also take some in between kind of way where it shouldn't be harsh also. So I think that's my taking from this one.
Good. Yeah. Thanks. Yeah. Thank you. Anyone else? So what do you think we should do after teachers write about such incidents? They share such incidents, narrate these incidents. Any other reflections on this? Any other comments? Anybody?
Yeah, this kind of a instance, can lead to brainstorming among the teachers themselves, because I'm sure all of us, at some point of time, we had these kind of erring students in our classes, and our ways of handling them were also different, So
That's right.
while somebody would send the student straight away to the headmaster's office, others would, try to sweet talk the person, or, try to transform him by, sweetly understanding his or her problem. So, I mean, there can be a variety of ways through which the problems can be looked at, and people can approach it differently. And
that's exactly, that's right. So that's what we generally do with such incidents. We think, ask them to think of alternatives. So this is what happened. This is what the teacher did. Now, what do you think could have been done? All right. What are the alternatives possible? How do you think the teacher could have handled this situation differently? Is this the right up? I mean, so depending on the incident, we ask a few reflective questions. What happened? How did this happen? Or why did this happen? What do you think the teacher could have done differently? All right. How do you think she could have handled the situation in a different way? So we brainstorm. Exactly. We brainstorm. We have a deep discussion on such incidents, and it opens up their eyes. All right? They look at other perspectives. They think of alternative possibilities. That's right. So yeah, so it's not just writing something on the blog or on Google site. You'll have to make use of such writings experiences to develop reflective skills in students, in teachers. Okay, the next thing is, so as I said, we conduct several activities. One such activity is speaking. They speak on a given topic, and then they have to go back and write a reflective essay on that. So it's a kind of reflective teacher education program. We try to develop reflective skills in teachers. What am I doing? How am I teaching my subject? How is my own language speaking? Am I able to speak fluently? What else can I do to improve my skills? All right. What are the opportunities for professional development? So they write reflective essays. So this is one such reflective essay. And then I talked about article presentation. They present research-based articles, and then they go back to their Google site and write reflections. They share their experience. How was it? What was the feedback received from the teacher educator? How useful was the feedback? They reflect on it. All right. And then this is what I did with the most recent batch. Actually, from blogs have moved on to Google sites, and in Google sites they share everything. Their classroom research report is shared on the Google site. So it's like their portfolio. Google site is their digital portfolio. Each teacher develops their own electronic portfolios. So here they write about the exploratory action research, so the problems and all that. Yes. And then reflections on teaching practice. All right. How did it go? Were they able to teach well? Did it go well? What are the areas for improvement? All right. So, and then they create lots of other materials. As teachers, they create materials. One such material was a flip book. They're asked to create digital materials. One such material is a flip book. All right, I'm sure you are familiar with this flip book. See, this is a flip book. They select a lesson prescribed in the course book. They convert the lesson into a flip book, which helps them in teaching online. So each of the teachers, they select different classes, different lessons, and they create flip books like this. And this is found to be very useful in developing students' reading skills, the creativity. Right. So that's about Google site. Now let me move on to the next slide. Yes. Any Quick comments, anybody? Any comments, any thoughts? What about your Google site? What do your students generally write on Google site? Can anybody reflect on that? Are you happy with your students' Google sites? Do you try to develop reflective skills among your students? Any reflections on that? Anybody? What do they write in Google sites? Can one of you raise hand, unmute and speak, please? How do you use Google sites in your classrooms? Yes, please.
Ravinder, can you please unmute Shivani? She's raised her hand.
She is co-host.
No, he had unmuted me, but I was responding to the earlier query. Earlier, when he had asked about how would you respond if a student behaves like that, I had wanted to speak about that, not Google site, because I don't think I use Google site. Yeah.
Okay, right. So those of you who are using Google sites, how do you use it? Can you just reflect on that? How do you use it? How do you think it can be used in future? Would you like to talk about that? Anybody?
Well, I think most of us use it as a personal website, not as a teaching tool. So, but yeah, you like expanded this, and it can be reached to students also.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, right, yeah. Okay, so can I move on to the next slide then? Okay, I'll make it full screen. Yes, so this is okay. So now, based on our discussion so far, what do you think about these statements? So do you think, I just say true or false, or agree, disagree in the chat box. You can use the chat and write agree, disagree, or A means agree, D means disagree. All right. So the statement is, current technologies are unable to develop the communicative competence of learners. What do you think? Do you think current technologies are unable to develop the communicative skills of students? Yeah. Right, agree or disagree? All of you, please. Yeah, use the chat. Right, agree, disagree. Okay, agree. Okay, Dr. Gopal Kumar, agree. And then Shibani, agree. Okay, agree. Okay. Disagree. Okay. I'm just curious to know why some of you agree with this statement. Nidhi or Shibanti, right? Yeah. Can you just unmute and tell us why do you agree with this? Shibani. Yes, Shibani, please. Agree.
I think because we've been using technology primarily in the last year to, for our classes, and I see communication has come down. So, and so maybe I think, they don't find it, they don't find it easy enough to use it, or they don't find it, encouraging enough to use it. I don't know. So, but I do see the communication level has, dramatically come down. What the kind of interaction one has in a classroom, it's definitely also at some, maybe at some level, it's the technology which is not able to facilitate that kind of communication.
All right. Okay. It's interesting. All right. Now, disagree. Those of you who have disagreed with this statement, can you just explain why do you disagree? Dr. Kanchan or Dr. Gayatri or Bijay, anybody? Yeah. Why do you disagree with this? Anita Singh, for example. Yeah, you can unmute one of them, sir.
Yeah, I have unmuted all of three.
Yes.
You can unmute.
Yeah.
Kanchan
Why do you
ma'am?
disagree with it? Yeah.
Kanchan ma'am, Anita ma'am.
Ajit Kumar, all right. Shika is interesting, all right. Maybe they're not able to speak.
Shika ma'am, can you please unmute? Shika Srivastava, there are two Shika.
Shika Srivastava.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. It was my experience during lockdown while I started in March 2020, when I started taking this online classes. So students were less expressive, but when I get enabled with these tools and techniques, and when started using these techniques, so students were more expressive and they were learning more. Maybe some other aspects were also there that they were not getting any other options to those students who were going in sports field and skipping their classes. So they were also sitting and responding very well. And nutrition was quite good sitting at their home places. So many more reasons can be, but I found that they were expressive.
That's right. All right. Good. Yeah, that's right. Anyone else? So I don't really know whether it is a problem with the technology or not. See, some of you who have agreed. So, do you think technologies are not able to develop the community competence of learners, or is it our limitation, how we use technologies? So we'll have to think about it. All right. Yeah. And the next statement is, let's move on to the next statement. Okay. Current digital technologies are not able to foster social learning. Right? That is, engage students in interaction, collaboration, and discussion. So current digital technologies are not able to engage students in interaction, collaboration, discussion. What do you think? Agree or disagree? You can use the chat or unmute and speak. Yes, what do you think? Are the technologies helping us in developing students' interaction skills, collaboration, discussion, or are they limiting us? Please use the chat quickly. Yes, agree, disagree. Yeah, okay. Partially agree. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, disagree. All right. What about others? Can you just post your response in the chat, please? Okay, or one of you can unmute and speak. Anita Singh, why do you disagree? Can you give some examples of technologies you have used and the kind of interaction students had?
Yes, I find that they are not able. The thing is that current digital technologies are not able to foster social learning. That is, engage students in interaction, collaboration, and discussion. I don't find that, because the students are coming, if they are taking any essay competition or any interactive section or activity, they are very much there and they are participating over there only. So that's why I just,
Good. So technologies are helping. Us in developing their.
Yeah, it is helping at point, but you can't face-to-face classes. You just can't forget about that.
That's
you have to put,
That's there. Yeah, that's right.
That's a different type of interaction. Of course, there's no substitute of that.
Absolutely. Yeah. One cannot substitute the other. That's right. You're right.
Yes.
Okay. And the next statement is, higher order thinking skills cannot be developed using the current digital tools. Higher order thinking skills such as creativity, critical thinking, all right, ability to analyze. So what do you think? Higher order thinking skills cannot be developed using the current digital tools. Yes or no? Let's look at your responses. Yes. Current technologies are not. Yeah. Disagree. All right. Higher order thinking skills cannot be.
With your permission, I would like to say something here.
Yeah, please. Yeah.
I also feel that, this has something to do with teachers' own initiative also. Earlier also in physical classes, it must, depended on the teachers, individual teachers, to what length they went to empower learning or to empower students, to facilitate students in the classroom. Like some of us prepared worksheets, exercises, and used PowerPoint presentations, even carried our, in very earlier times, I used to carry my music system, small tape recorder to play cassettes in the class. So that was very difficult and also very problematic, but we used to do that. And in current times, but I find that, with these digital tools, things have become manageable. in my language learning classes, I'm, very easily I'm sharing a lot of exercises, reading comprehensions and listening comprehension, and they are definitely responding to them, thinking and coming up with their own solutions, etc. So to me, it seems, it is much about, one's own initiative.
That's right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
To what length teachers can go,
That's right. That's right. You're absolutely right. Yes, it depends on the teacher. All right. Even in the traditional face-to-face classroom, I think many of us, we give lectures, right? We don't make the sessions interactive. Even when we use slides, we go on giving lectures. So students are not involved in meaningful discussions. They're not involved in group work. So it actually depends on the teacher's initiative. So here as well, digital tools, I don't think there is a limitation. We can explore using many different tools, platforms. As I discussed earlier, for example, see, all these tools which I showed in the very beginning, Flipgrid, for example, can be used for making your sessions very interactive. Padlet or blogs, for this, it depends on how you use these online tools, platforms, how you make your sessions interactive using these tools, how you blend your online teaching. So we are going for blended teaching, right? Online, a combination of online, offline resources, right? Yeah. And then it's very, very easy to track individual students, to monitor individual students, their performance, their progress. It's possible online. Whereas in a face-to-face class, I think it's slightly challenging to monitor individual growth, individual progress. In online, it's quite easy actually. It's assessment is can be done very effectively. Okay, right. So my last question here is statement. Yes, please. Anybody? Yeah, Anita. Yeah. Any comments? Anyone? Any comments? No. Okay. The last statement here is the rise of technology, particularly artificial intelligence, will soon mean the teachers are made redundant. What do you think? Do you think the rise of technology will soon make teachers' role redundant? Do you think teachers will be replaced by technology, digital tools, artificial, especially with the rise in artificial intelligence? Yeah, you can use the chat or you can unmute and speak. Do you think technology will replace teachers? Totally disagree. Okay. No. Okay. Many of you are saying no. All right. Why? Why do you think so? Dr. Appala Naidu or Nidhi or Dr. Gopal Kumar can unmute and speak. Why do you think teachers' role will never become redundant? Why do you disagree with this? Yes. Dr. Kanchan, can you speak, one of you? Artificial intelligence is coming in a big way. Many of these international tests. Yeah, please. Yes.
मेरा नाम गोपाल कुमार है। मैं बस यही कहना चाहूँगा कि जिस चीज़ को खुद इंसान ने बनाया है वो चीज़ इंसान को रिप्लेस नहीं कर सकता। यानी कि आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस कितना भी ज़्यादा आगे आ जाए, लेकिन हमें नहीं लगता है कि वो रिप्लेस कर पाएगा।
Right. Yeah. Good. Yeah. You're right, sir. Thank you. Anyone else?
Some of us come from science streams. I think it would be nice to hear from them, Yes. Science teachers. Maybe they can reflect on this part of.
Yeah. Can one of you respond to this? What do you think about the role of artificial intelligence? Do you think teachers will be replaced by digital tools in future? Anybody?
Hello?
Yes,
hello,
please.
Sir, myself, Nidhi. I think that we can provide the content, we can provide the lectures through these digital tools, but we cannot explain everything through this. So that's why teachers needed, and to explain the doubts, clear the doubts of students, we need teachers.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I agree with that. Yes, I mean, however advanced is the technology, it will not replace teachers. There is a human connect, right? It's important to empathize with your teachers. Teachers, I mean, qualities like empathy, being able to understand their emotions, emotional intelligence. I think that plays a very important role in the classroom. So technology will not replace teachers. However, so my next slide, let's look at the next slide. Okay. So let's look at some of the theoretical concepts. So when we say online learning, so we actually mean two or three different things. One is platform-based learning, like we use Modal or Edmodo. These are the learning management systems, right? So that is called platform-based learning, where we enroll students, share all the materials on Modal. Okay, the other one is teacher-directed live streaming, like we are doing right now on Zoom, live streaming the class, or on Google Meet. That's another way of learning online. And the third variety is video-based flipped learning, where you have a combination of face-to-face sessions as well as online sessions. So these are flipped classrooms, right? So there are three different types of online learning: platform-based, teacher-directed live streaming, and video-based flipped learning. However, the question is, we don't no longer ask questions like, are you in favor of using technology? Are you against using technology? I think once upon a time we used to debate this. There are many professors who are reluctant to use PowerPoint slides, who are against using technology in the classroom. But now I think there is no choice. It's a matter of the extent to which we can adopt flipped approach and offer blended learning to our learners. We are not left with a choice like to use technology or not to use. It's the extent to which we are able to blend our classrooms, integrate technology into our online, offline, and offline sessions. All right. And the importance of specific, so the teachers have to be trained to use blended mode of teaching to be successful in creating a digital environment. So that training is required, and teachers have to transform themselves from teacher-directed top-down and one-size-fits-all approach to a more student-driven, bottom-up, customized and differentiated approach. So in blended teaching, what is important is, or in digital education, what is important is to be student-driven. How to make your digital classrooms student-oriented, student-driven, right? And then how to have a bottom-up approach. What are their requirements? What are their needs? All right. And then giving feedback, all that is important. And customized and different, you will have to adopt a customized, differentiated approach. So I think I'll skip this. So we use Modal learning management system. We have, if you look at the second box here, we use Modal, and then we have discussion groups on Modal. We have teacher mentoring sessions, as I already discussed. And then we have self-study groups. And there are lots of activities that make online teaching interactive, quite engaging. So we provide them hands-on experience in using digital resources, familiarize them with digital pedagogy. I'll skip this part. So when we evaluate these types of tools and apps, we need to examine three different things. One is how information is presented. How are you presenting information? What are you presenting it in a lecture mode, or are you able to make it interactive? So you need to look at this, how information is presented, and then what information is presented. What is the content that is presented, all right? And how the tool or app is designed to influence pedagogy and content knowledge. How the tool can be used, adopted, or adapted to influence your pedagogy and your content. These three things are very, very important when you are designing online teaching, all right? What kind of information is to be presented, how it is to be presented, right? And then the effectiveness of distance learning amid the pandemic should be assessed based on three criteria: access, engagement, and assessment of learning outcomes. Okay, does the teacher have access? Do the students have access to appropriate digital technologies? And then the extent to which they're able to engage themselves. Are the students able to engage completely? And then are these pedagogies, digital pedagogies, effective in achieving the learning outcomes? So effectiveness of these online tools and apps should be assessed keeping these three criteria in mind. All right. So we faced many challenges during our teacher training programs. All right, there were many issues. It's not that everything went on very smoothly. For example, some teachers said reading the course materials on the computer, mobile phone was quite an irritating kind of experience. And then attending from home was difficult because they had to balance both their schoolwork, family work, and then attending these online sessions. So there were challenges, connectivity issues, for example, and some of them could not complete pre-test, post-test. They could not complete all the assignments, right, because they didn't have appropriate devices, connectivity, and they didn't get sufficient time to complete the assignments. Some of them didn't have much technical knowledge. And then, yes, and look at this. And then their anxiety, the second one, the obvious challenge was the anxiety to stay connected with proper network at all times. I think all of us face this issue. We are all the time anxious whether I'll have good network from the beginning till the end of the session, all right, especially during their presentations. And then another teacher said, in spite of my illness, I attended all the sessions, all right. So teachers' well-being is another important concern. So apart from internet and connectivity issue, there were several other issues raised by teachers during the program. And teachers' well-being was one of the issues raised. So in every cohort, for example, we used to have 10 dropouts. 10 teachers would drop out for various reasons. Right, so I think we need to have new types of knowledge required now in this digital age. One is pedagogical knowledge, knowledge of the pedagogy, knowledge of the teaching, how to teach, pedagogical knowledge, and then content knowledge, and then technological knowledge. I think we have to develop these three types of knowledge: pedagogical knowledge, then content knowledge. All right, mastery of the content, what we are teaching. And then we also have to develop technological knowledge. What tools are to be used? How best to use these tools and technologies? And then examining the relationship among three core knowledge domains for educators: pedagogy, content, and technology. How to blend all this, how to integrate all this and deliver effective online sessions. And then it's important to have technological content knowledge, technological pedagogical knowledge, and technological pedagogical content knowledge, right? You'll have to have a good knowledge of the content that is given in these online platforms and tools. Technological content, the features, for example, features of all these tools. And then pedagogical tools, how to use these tools, technological pedagogical knowledge, and then technological pedagogical content knowledge, all right? How to present all these in a 40-minute class or in a 1-hour session, how to use the tools, how to present the information, how to make the sessions interactive, engaging. So it's not easy. You'll have to, we have to put conscious efforts and develop these skills. Yes. So I think some of the areas for further exploration are some of these. For example, monitoring student dropout and disengagement. Why are, for example, these teachers dropping out? Why are the students dropping out? And why are they not able to engage themselves completely? Maybe we'll have to examine these issues. And then the continued role of remote learning. What is the extent to which we can engage students in remote learning? How best can we blend offline, online sessions? And then what is our plan for remediation? Mitigating learning losses during school closure. All right. So how do we begin when the colleges reopen, for example? Where do we begin from? Can we think of some catch-up sessions? So what is the content of these catch-up sessions or bridge course, for example? How to mitigate the learning loss? And then we'll have to think of new approaches to assessment. We can't just think of preparing question papers and conducting examinations in the face-to-face mode all the time. We'll have to think of new ways of assessing students using these Google Sites, digital portfolios. So it's important to develop these technological skills and also support students or teachers in developing their knowledge and skills. And then we have to provide them emotional support, also psychosocial support, to take care of their well-being. Right? And then Yeah, I think I've got just 10 minutes. If there are any questions, maybe I'm open for that, or else I've got a few more slides. So what do you think the best thing to do now? We are left with another 10 minutes. Should I continue with my presentation or?
Yeah, you can continue for 5 minutes and we can see questions coming up in the chat box. Yes, Ravinder.
I'll stop at 3 because I've got another class actually at 3 o'clock. So can I stop exactly at 3 o'clock?
Fine, sir, fine. Even before that will work.
Right. Yeah, right. Thank you. Right. So my next slide is, yes, about our rights in a digital world. Can you all see the slide? Can you see this slide? Our rights in a digital world. Right.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes. Right. So students around the world, they provide a clear vision of the internet they want. They also talk about, this was done by, I think, not UNICEF, I think, what is it called? What is the organization? Rights Foundation. Rights Foundation. They have conducted a study across the globe, and they have collected data from students about their rights in a digital world. And students have talked about the kind of digital environment they want to see. And they talked about the barriers that can affect their rights in the digital world and what actions they want to see taken. These are students' voices. So this is a book, I can share the link later, a snapshot of children's views from around the world. What are their rights in a digital world? Okay, so some of them are saying, particularly in low-income countries, girls encounter significant gender-based barriers to access. Girls are not able to access technology, internet. And children across the world are concerned that girls do not have equal access to digital technologies, and this may affect their rights and maybe even their life chances. So this was one of the concerns expressed by children about online teaching, online learning, living in a digital age. All right, girls are deprived of many opportunities. And then they also raised concerns about the language being used in the digital world. All right, they said there should be greater availability of relevant content in other foreign languages, not just English. So if you look at, for example, most of these online tools, resources like Padlet I talked about, or Flipgrid, there are many such tools, platforms, right? The content is available only in English, or we can create content mainly in English. So children said content must be presented in other languages as well. So accessibility tools in other languages. Children across the world want governments and technology providers internationally to provide age-appropriate and culturally relevant materials in their own languages. So look at that. Age-appropriate materials, they want culturally relevant materials, not everything coming from the West. They want culturally relevant materials in their own languages, not forcing everything in English. Right. And then what about, the third important concern raised by them was issues related to disability. Right? Those students who are differently abled, students with disabilities, they cannot access some of these tools, or they are not, these tools are not accessible by children who have learning disabilities or other challenges. So children across the world want governments and technology providers internationally to create easier access for a range of users with different accessibility needs, including providing easy to use accessibility tools by default. All right. Like the course books, for example, can a child who is visually challenged, how do they use course books? Who are hearing impaired, for example, they cannot listen to your YouTube videos, all right, visually impaired, hearing. So how do we make these tools friendly to such students? That's another important challenge raised by students. So as educators, I think we have a shared responsibility in building the digital world that young people deserve, all right? And digitalization should not lead to marginalization. There is already economic marginalization, right? But digitalization should not lead to further marginalization of students. So in future, I think, as I already discussed, teachers who don't use technology will certainly be replaced by teachers who do. Teachers who don't use technology. They will be replaced by teachers who use technology. But technology should not get in the way of good teaching and learning. All right. So don't let technology get in the way of good teaching and learning. This is a warning. Right. Now that UGC has announced that higher education institutions will be allowed to teach 40% of any course online and the rest 60% can be taught offline. All right. So you have this flexibility. You can teach 40% of your content online and only the 60% can be taught offline. So what do we do? The pandemic is a chance to rethink education, all right, not settle for online lectures. We should not go back to the pre-pandemic period. And it's very, very important to learn lessons from the pandemic and bring some real changes in our classrooms, in our online or offline ways of teaching. We should not settle down for lectures. Okay, these are some of the references I've made use of. Yeah, that's it from my side. I'm open for questions for another 2-3 minutes, please. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, sir, for your interactive session. And I'm sure that all of us have learned many things from you. Starting from your journey of exploring the needs of the teachers through surveys, you covered the whole broad area of teacher education in digital age. You mentioned some online platforms and tools like MindMeister, Flipgrid, Padlet, Blog, Google Sites, Jamboard, etc. And we also enjoyed hands-on experience with the Padlet wall creation for more interactive teaching experiences. You also brought the topic of peer mentoring sessions, article presentations, blogs, class blogs, along with different online types like platform-based learning, teacher-directed live streaming, and video-based flip. I'm sure that this session will help us in becoming a quintessential educator in a true sense. So there are some questions of participants which I would like to bring to you. And I can see Gopalji and some other also are asking about the flip book, how to use that flip book and how to create that flip book.
Right. I think some of you will know this. Those who know can also answer the questions, not that I need to answer. Flipbook, I think there is an app. There's an app which allows you to convert a book into the flipbook mode. I'm not very sure about the app, but I think you'll be able to find that app. Does anybody know how to convert how to create a flipbook? There is an app. There is an app. I can share it later with Dr. Shubha. Actually, Shubha Dwivedi. I can share the link. Yes, I think it's easy. All the school teachers, they learn on their own. They Google, they find out, and then they share with each other.
In fact, our students are also experimenting with these apps, because most of them have got these smartphones. So they are downloading apps. And last time I remember one of our student has converted one essay into a flip book. So yeah, so it's just that I'm also forgetting the name of the app, but it is easily available.
It's available. Yeah,
it's freely available on the web and with some limitation of KBs and like the size of the file you want to upload, but it is available. And it's like click and go. It's not a very technical thing. And Dr. Shudha is asking, there are a number of tools, but not easy to use for everyone. Which tool will cover all features to teach the students?
I think it's time we developed a tool which covers all the features. Yeah, some of these are commercial tools. We are not for commercial tools, right? We are not advocating such platforms. It should be available as an open source. So Modal is an open source platform, all right? Anybody can use it free of cost, like Google Site, for example, all right? So we promote open source materials. And it's time we develop, see, as I talked about multilingual material, you had a session on multilingualism, right? So materials should be available in different languages. Tools should be student-friendly. Even children with disability, they should have easy access to such tools. So it's time we develop such tools with many different features. And instead of depending on others, I think we all should come together and put our best efforts and think of developing these tools with the features that are relevant to our context.
Dr. Shikha is asking, technology-enabled learning is communicative, interactive, expressive, etc. But students are getting mental health issues. What's your view or concern for that?
That's right. Yeah, that's right. You're right. to a great extent, yes, it's affecting their mental well-being. Not just students, even teachers. I think teachers are also under pressure. One is completing the syllabus and then conducting assessment online. So lots of things will have to do online, right? So it's really creating pressure. It's creating a stressful environment. But I think the best way is to meet them face-to-face as much as possible in small groups, not necessarily in the classroom, and then minimize their screen time and make offline resources available. It's not that they should be available online. So that's flipped learning, right? They can do quite a lot of things offline. And then maybe they can talk to each other. Students can have their own groups. They can meet online when they have time. I really don't know how to address this. So we'll have to pitch in parents as well. So teachers alone can't do much about taking care of their mental well-being. I think parents to some extent. Some students, they get addicted to mobiles, right? They get addicted to mobiles, internet. So parents also have an equal role, I think, to minimize their screen time and to address their emotional needs. Yes.
Okay, Shika is commenting that blended form of technique will be helpful. I think you said 60-40 ratio. And there are some comments also. Sarika is saying wonderfully well-rounded perspectives. Thanks. And सतीश साल्वे जी saying बहुत ही सारगर्भित तथा सराहनीय मंतव्य से हम सभी प्रतिभागी धन्य हो गए. So it was a wonderful talk, sir, a wonderful session. We really learned a lot. And if any participant having any question, you may post it.
Yeah.
So the future will be like human and technology will go hand in hand. Technology is for complementing the existing tools. All right. There is no more question in the chat box. So it was a wonderful talk, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And we reached the time also. On the behalf of ARSD College, organizing team, and all the participants, I convey my heartfelt thanks to you, sir, for sparing your valuable time to grace this program and enlighten us with your words of wisdom. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much, Ravinder, sir, for a wonderful moderation. And thank you, Dr. Shubha, for the opportunity.
Thank you so much. The pleasure was ours, and it was a very, I would say, engaging session, and all of us have learned a lot. In fact, I'm waiting for some free time so that I can try out some of the tools and apps and make my classes more interactive and engaging. Thank you so much for